Hello once again, my fellow Diecast tragics. Today we're looking at a older one, of course, from a Corgi in 1/72nd scale diecast. Yep, we've got another Messerschmitt 110 here. I do like my twin-engine heavy fighters. If you have not noticed that yet, we've got ourselves a 110 from Geschwader 26 during the Battle of Britain. Now, this particular aircraft right here was assigned to Bomber Escort on the 11th of September in 1940. Now, after battling with RAF fighters, they then were withdrawing to wait for the returning bombers. One engine actually seized, and unfortunately, they had to break formation. The pilot, Hermann Brinkmann, dived low and headed back for France, but was spotted by RAF fighters. They would suffer hits in the remaining engine and were forced to belly land at a farm in an English village. Both Hermann and his radio operator survived, but were taken prisoner. Now, the Luftwaffe would lose around 25 aircraft, including 5 Bf110s from ZG-26 in that mission, and with the RAF losing 29 fighters. All right, now let's get this open. I do want to see this. I'm looking forward to it for sure. All right, so it's in the usual box. There is a collector card. All right, let's have a little look. So that is the collector card if you're into your collector cards. There is a run of a 1,200. So yeah, if you do want one of these, it is older, as I said. You will have to do what I did, eBay, and hunt for your older ones, which is what I do for a lot of my older ones. As I've said, I've been a little bit late to the military aircraft diecast party, so I've had to catch up a little bit. So this is all new for me. When I open these are still new to my eyes. So a lot of you may have already seen this one, but I have not. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, so this stand is all plastic. Very straightforward to put together. You do have your gear down options and that beautiful 110 sitting in there waiting to be picked up by my fat sausage fingers. All right. Ooh. I don't want to break these, especially the older ones, because they can be hard to find and hard to find at a good price. Now, if I can stop hitting the camera for you, it might help. Oh, this is really hard plastic to... Oh, fuck. Get some poppage. Come on, man. Give it to me. Fuck me. Oh, all right. That was a little bit of effort. That was quite hard to get out, but oh yes, very, very worth it. How cool does that look? Let us zoom in and see that coolness. All right. Beautiful details. That camo does look fantastic. The propellers spin reasonably good. It is an older one. They still had propeller oil. The white nose is a very interesting touch on it. So you've got the 2 crew members in there, which is really nice. The Corgi ones always have their crew members in there. And they've got some really nice detail too. Definitely, if I can stop getting some reflection from the light. Markings are great. It's got the period correct markings. Corgi are always excellent with that. And they are excellent with the tail wheel. It is a fixed tail wheel on the 110s, whereas Hobbymaster trick me every now and then because you're so absorbed in doing a video with their 110s. They include a retractor tail wheel section. So when you're doing the video, you just chuck everything that is in your box on your model. And I do get tricked into putting the retractor tail wheel in those videos sometimes. So at least you don't have to do that. This is set up in flight, ready to go straight out of the box for you in-flight displays, of course, which is awesome for you guys. Sucks for me because I always choose the complicated route because that's just the kind of guy I am. So to chuck it on the stand, you just stick it in your stand hole as hard as you can because you don't want this dropping down. It's a little bit skewy. For those OCD people, I get a bit of that. All right, now it does look fantastic, of course. Well, that's you in-flight people are done and dusted. I reckon it does look really cool. Let's chuck some landing gear on this quickly and we'll come right back and wind up the video. All right, that's set up for gear down. Now, these are the bits for your gear up, obviously, that you do have to remove. See those little pins? They can be really easy to break off. But these ones pulled out beautifully, so easy. And the gear bay doors, look how flush they sit. All of these gear bay doors went on perfectly. This being an older one, The assembly, spot on, 100% fitment. The wheels turn as well. They drop in beautifully. I put the gear bay doors on and slip the landing gear through, and it's, perfect. This is set up really nice, no issues whatsoever, and everything is so flush and neat. Oh, it looks fantastic. Yep, 100%. Definitely really cool, and you can just chuck it on the deck. The landing gear is nice and solid. You can wheel it around if you're that kind of person, but I am not. But what I am is a kind of person that likes to weigh shit, so we'd like to do that. So let us see how much diecast we get on our Corgi 110. All right, we get 232 grams worth. Alrighty, that does seem not too bad, and I reckon this model, fantastic. I do like the 110, as I've said repeatedly on numerous videos as well. All right, I'll do the usual though. Photos at the end. Check them out if you want to. Don't forget, drop a comment below if you've got something to say. Always feel free to punch that subscribe button if you're watching and have yet to do that, of course. And you guys, thank you very much for dropping past to check out another one of my videos. I hope you enjoyed what hit your eyeballs today. And if you did, don't forget, some of those my way. That would be freaking awesome as well. Now, happy hunting for yours. If you choose to look for one of these yourself, good luck in that search. And hopefully you won't get bent over price-wise. And of course, as always, you all have an awesome sauce rest of your day. Cheers, everyone.